I'm back, I'm Gertie Rude, back again, the Thursday mood. Well, here we are. I missed this the other day. Megan's missed the point of Mother's Day. You're meant to celebrate your mum. Because I think it was Mother's Day in America on Sunday, wasn't it? So what's she been up to? I'm not surprised, to be honest. But anyway, we're going to hear.
Your own mother on Mother's Day, not yourself as a mother. And again, we've got Prince Harry as a father being celebrated. So obviously, she obviously is not going to celebrate either the King or Mr. Markle.
So it was Father's Day in Britain, but Mother's Day in America. Am I right? Am I right? Someone tell me. So, yeah, but what did you expect her to celebrate? She's going to celebrate herself, isn't she? She's a walking, talking celebration of herself, darlings.
So, yeah.
Not her own father who paid all her school fees.
Exactly.
Gave
her on the set and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm just...
She wouldn't have got anywhere without the Markle surname, but there you go. Say nothing. Move on.
Sorry to keep going back to the past, but why did Mr. Markle never meet Prince Harry? And there can only be three reasons for that. One, that she was ashamed of him, which I think was a bit unattractive. Two, possibly that she thought he'd done something. But when Prince Harry rang Mr. Markle up
she
and
set
asked
it up
if he
that
could
he had done something.
marry his daughter, he said, you can marry her as long as you never raise your hand against her. And of course we don't talk like that, so maybe he listened well.
That was kind of crass, wasn't it? Because, that's the sort of thing you'd say if she was going out with some sort of blue-collar worker in America. So there's that. Anyway, let's move on.
People have done that sort of thing. I dispute that as well.
I'm sorry if you can hear my fan,
The third reason is that I think she was worried that he might actually have warned Prince Harry that this is not what you're getting, this girl.
They're not two normal families, are they? They both married into.
No.
I mean, let's be honest. That both families have quite.
Both sides are kind of. I mean, if you took the royalty away from the Windsors, what you'd be left with is I wouldn't even like to say everyone's normal family because they're literally not. They've got so many, none of my family have ever been sort of pally with the type of people that Charles in the past has been pally with, who are no longer on this earth. So there's that. And oh my God, I better not say too much. Anyway, let's go.
A lot of history. They've got a lot
Mr. Markle should have been at the wedding, and they should have flown him over, stuck him in a health farm in the Shetlands or somewhere. Prince Harry should have gone up to see him, and if he couldn't have walked the aisle, he should have been sitting there, because as you rightly say, he did a lot for that girl. She even admitted it.
It just looked awful, didn't it? Really, if you think of it, it did look awful. Even on the day, it looked really weird. For such a well-known family that she was marrying into. I mean, possibly the most well-known family on the entire planet, and it was only her mum that was there to give her the correct credentials. I think if she could have got away with not having her mum there, she would have done. And all that walking up the aisle, I don't think she wanted to be walked up the aisle. I think she was playing the part of a Disney princess. I've never watched Disney in my life. I can't, just personally, can't stand anything Disney. But that's just me. I know people love Disney, and that's fantastic. So, but I'm given to believe there's a Disney princess type of cartoon thing that she modelled herself on. So Charles said he'd walk her up the aisle, and then she, I think they came to some sort of conclusion that he'd walk her so far, but the ultimate, so he walked her the penultimate halfway up the aisle. And then as she entered into the actual nave where she was getting married, is it the nave? Is it the main part? To the altar. She walked on her own, darlings. So all the cameras could see her in her finest hour. It was her finest starring moment, darling. She thought she was Grace Kelly marrying, what's his name, Prince Rainier or something, I don't know. Mind you, he's a bit down at heel. Isn't he really, that family? Or is it, where are they? Monaco. Yeah. I don't think she would have been seen there at all, darlings. It's very down at heel, that family. But no, there's that to it. I mean, I'm not saying they are, but probably from her point of view, they're not royal enough for the Markle now, are they?
Before she distanced herself from him.
He lives 3 hours away. There is no excuse. And actually, I have to say, it's pretty... some of the circumstances that he's living in, compared to the riches that Harry and Meghan have, is appalling.
Well, I wouldn't say too much, because he's not living in Mexico anymore, darlings. Is he? He's domiciled somewhere else. Probably because it's a lot cheaper where he is. let's just say that, be polite.
I will always defend that man because I think that he has been absolutely wronged by that woman.
He's in the Philippines now, correct me if I'm wrong.
He's
yeah,
in the
oh
Philippines,
dear.
yes. He's there with Thomas Markle Jr.
Yes.
And they're just trying to get away from it all. When we talk about privacy and, Harry said...
He is. And that 4'10" girl, probably a size 8 dress clothes, was definitely helping the however tall and considerably weighty Junior across the road, because we could all see, that she was helping him across the road. So that's obviously what was happening.
I want security. They have been hounded. They have had to flee the country, basically, to try and get some peace and quiet. So
he was 70 miles away, wasn't he? It wouldn't have been very difficult for Prince Harry
to Rosarito,
the children over there to meet him. I mean, and she talks so much about...
Damn! 70 miles away is nothing! I mean, I had people when I was a young mum that would drive 10 hours from the top of Britain to get to where we were in Sussex to see their grandchildren. So, 10-hour drive. Woo! 70 miles is literally nothing.
Relationships and things.
It's 50 odd miles from where I am to get to the centre of London. So, and that probably takes about an hour and a half, depending on the traffic, obviously. So, well, that's a bit weird. 70 miles, that's nothing. Literally nothing. Why haven't they seen their grandfather?
One day, as you rightly say, he will die.
Yeah, because it's literally not about Meghan. You see how she makes everything about Meghan? Mother's Day is about Meghan, and she made Father's Day about Harry. Wasn't he lucky? Got to look in for a change. So there's that. But it's not about her rights, is it? Unless there's some particularly nefarious reason that only she knows about, then it's my opinion that she has no right to stop her children, no matter what her feelings are, from having the relationship with a wider circle of their family. That is their God-given right. It's their human right as a child. And obviously, as adults, we're supposed to facilitate that. There are times that, we've all got those type of relatives. But you're all there for the kids because it takes a village to bring up a child, doesn't it, really? That's what people say. Yes, they do. It's a saying from someone. So, and it's healthy mentally and emotionally for children to have the widest possible expanse of people that have got, a dog in the game of their upbringing and their lives and their little worlds, So to deny them that, and not only that, when we only got to look at our own eyes, for our own eyes to see that there are large tracts of time when those children aren't with anybody because they're not there. We've seen them jetting off here, jetting off there, minus the kids. Where are the kids? It's no good us saying that they're with Doria all the time, because Doria is very much her own woman. I'm not saying she's not a granny to them, but what I am saying is the people that are looking after them aren't family. That's all I'm saying. I do know that the the Waleses now, they, unlike, say, in the time of Diana and previous to Diana, her family are very much involved in their grandchildren. Even though I'm sure that these Wales' children have got nannies and all sorts of, I don't want to say servants, but people around them that are there to keep the family rolling, if you know what I mean. Yeah, but they've still got their granny to turn to, or their granddad to turn to. And they are very hands-on grandparents, from what I've heard. The Middleton, Kate's mum and dad, in other words. And likewise with her other grandchildren from Pippa, and I think they've got a granddaughter by James now as well, haven't they? So yeah, I like that setup, because yes, they've got servants or aides. I don't know what they call them. Would they call personal assistants? Are they called nowadays rather than servants? Yeah, so they've got all that available to them, which is lovely, because when you're dealing with people that are such high public figures and probably got a massive house, you probably do need a lot of people around you to keep the house running, don't you, darlings? I have been in those situations, and it does take quite a tight team to keep everything rolling. So front-facing, everything looks splendid and glorious, which is no more than what we'd expect, really. But to know that their children do have access to their grandparents. So blood. Because obviously Charles can't be there all the time. That's their other granddad. And it's nice to think that they're not just abandoned with I don't want to say servants, but as I keep saying, I don't like to use that word, but paid staff. Yeah, they've actually got people that are there for no other reason than they love them.
A whole lot of, what Meghan, will she go to the funeral? She'll probably make a whole thing about it. And
no one cares.
I feel really sorry for him. If you listen to what he says, not how he's reported, but listen to actually what he says. He never says anything unpleasant, does he?
That's very true.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I think he does. I think over the years, I like Thomas as well. I spoke to him in the past.
He's reported as saying it's always, it's always twisted.
Okay.
I mean, if you actually listen to the actual words that he says, he's very...
No, I've never really heard Tom Markle, the senior. He's kind of circumspect when he talks about his daughter. I think there's been a few when they were filming having a barbecue and they were a bit edgy. But he was there with his other son and daughter, so maybe that had some sort of influence on his narrative. But when you get Thomas on his own, he is very circumspect. He's far too circumspect, some might say, because we'd rather have a bit more, flesh on the bone type of thing. But what would you say when that's your child? Obviously, the sister and brother, they don't care, throw her under the bus. Which, again, you can understand from a superficial point of view, that they're watching their father suffer because of what one of their siblings has done. I'm sure have we all been in those situations? I'm sure more of us have experienced that type of situation where you're watching your parents, it's literally nothing to do with you, but another sibling in the family has done something or said something and it's caused an uproar, and you may or may not get on with that sibling, but you also sort of pity your elders for having to put up with this, and it's very difficult not to take sides, isn't it? Very difficult, especially when you see them suffer, and especially say in that situation that your elder had a stroke or something, you would start spitting feathers, wouldn't you? I mean, I didn't come from a normal family, but you would start spitting feathers. You think, how dare you, I'm here doing everything and all they want to do is see you. So it's kind of like, a tangled web that's been woven. Very difficult, very difficult.
Often when he's interviewed, you can see him...
Basically, she needs to get off her high horse and remember where she's come from, really. That's what I'm trying to say.
And he was also very respectful to the late Queen, always.
Oh, yeah, he loved the Queen.
And what this couple...
and he's also, in fairness, Tom Senior, he's always very respectful to King Charles, isn't he? He is. So... yeah, and I think even the siblings have sort of made sounds in that direction. I know there's a lot of hoo-ha over social media, and I'm here for it, darlings. I'm here for it, because I always said they're a social construct. That's just my personal opinion. But superficially, what we're dealing with here is the forward public-facing face of the Markles. Yeah, I've never heard them be rude about King Charles. None of them, really. In fact, I've heard them sort of pity him because they're in the same boat. He might be a king, but they're in the same boat. And Charles has got his own challenges at the moment, hasn't he?
Things I shall never forgive them for in the last years of her life.
No. Well, there's that as well. Yeah,
Thomas. As you say, I've spoken to Thomas in the past, and he's a very lovely, but slightly not damaged, but he's quite, he's been hugely affected by what he was thrown into when it emerged that Meghan married Harry.
Yes.
It's very messy, and I actually think that without fixing the foundations of that relationship, both Harry and Meghan...
yeah, but not being funny, that's what happens when you marry down. Am I allowed to say that? If you marry up or you marry down, you do get this type of thing for all the best will in the world, and everybody tries to ignore the fact that you're marrying down or you're marrying up or you're a fish out of water, and you've got this relative or that relative that may or may not. And I thought that the royal family bent over backwards to include her and make her feel welcome and wanted. From what I could tell, I mean, I might be wrong, but that's the impression I got. So, and the way they put that Oprah interview out, knowing that Philip was, obviously they were privy to more information than what we were. We only had to look at him. I mean, he was 97. I mean, you know, when he went, I cried like a biatch. I did. I couldn't help myself, because it's a little bit of your history going, isn't it? It's sad. But then I did think to myself, well, he's 97. You know, what did I think he was going to do? Go and do an Olympic event. He had a really, really good innings, but he was edging towards his end when that Oprah interview went up. I think he didn't know nothing about it. I think it was kept away from him, thankfully. But I don't know whether the Queen did. Did the Queen know about it? She probably did. But the Queen liked a bit of gossip. That's what people don't know about the Queen. She loved a bit of gossip, and she loved a bit of trouble, because she's got God knows how many family members. I mean, you can't just be a second or third cousin of the Queen and not actually be part of the family. Every now and again you have these events where they're all there on the balcony, and you wonder how the balcony can still be there without collapsing with all the people, you know. So, and I don't know my second cousins. I don't even know my first, really, let alone my second and third cousins. But the Queen's family is like that. Everybody knows everybody, and she used to like a bit of goss. Yes, you don't blame her, really, because I suppose she was always doing like formal business. So when you did have a bit of trouble in the firm, she'd lap it up. Yes, look into it. She'd lap. It always makes me laugh when I hear the little snippets, and she did enjoy it. Yeah, I would as well. Damn it, I would. I want to hear all the Markle's latest. Oh dear. What's the other one? What's her name? Princess Michael of Kent. Yes, she was another one they used to all like having a bit of a gossip about. She was an Araviste, you know, my darling.
Again, they actually won't be able to pursue a sort of brand, because it's very hard to take them seriously when everything's a car crash behind the scenes publicly. So I just think without fixing these family relationships, you can't pretend to have this like lifestyle brand with linen and picking things. It just doesn't work.
We just got time for our quick fire questions.
Right.
Okay. So if you're all
I think we've had enough. I think that's about it. So what have we deduced? It was Mother's Day and the Markle made it all about herself. Are we surprised? Do I hear a resounding hell no? I've told you a million times before, she's the only woman in the world that's ever given birth. And she's the only woman in the world that's ever been a mum. Oh, let's just leave it there. Lap it up. The largesse and the crumbs from the munificent, splendiferous table of the Meghan Markle and Mr. Markle Harry. Anyway, bye-bye now. I don't mean her parents, I mean her husband. Harry Markle. Let's call him that from now on. Anyway, bye-bye now.